You're watching Avenue X, and today let's talk about a recently just finished airing Chinese contemporary drama, 蛮好的人生, A Better Life. This is a 36 episodes drama that has finished airing on Youku and CCTV recently. It is directed by Wang Jun, a very veteran Chinese television director who has previously directed dramas such as 苍穹之矛 and 如懿传. It is written by Fei Huijun and Li Xiaoliang. This is a original script, not based on any previously existing material. It is led by Sun Li, Dong Zijian, Hu Xing'er, Gao Xin, and it was mainly shot in Shanghai from March to July last year. The drama went online and also on satellite television on April the 17th. A Better Life, 蛮好的人生 originally had a different title, actually multiple titles. Initially it was called 3928, which refers to the two lead characters' age. Then it got changed into 保险人生, literally means insurance or insured life, as our main characters are insurance brokers in this story. And then just before it aired, it changed the title again into A Better Life. So I finished watching it. I'll give it a 2 gold mine rating, still not a 3 gold mine. I think it's very hard actually to get a 3 gold mine drama these days from Avenue X, because every 3 gold mine drama would have to be almost perfect, also having X factor, which I wouldn't really say this drama has that much. It's more like a very acceptable, standard, contemporary, realism drama based on 2025's drama production standard. Very briefly introducing the story and setup to you, it is contemporary drama set in Shanghai. The lead character is played by Sun Li. It's definitely big female lead story. It starts with her midlife crisis. She's a very successful insurance broker, famous for getting very big deals. Her husband, who's been with her for years, who's a very successful professor in the university environment, who doesn't bring that much money into the family but has a level of fame in his area of study, cheated on her and then decided to go with the other woman and divorce her. She already has a child, a son, with this man who's now studying in middle school, and a very cute kid played by this actor who you've literally seen him grown up on screen of Chinese drama land. So she runs into the first big crisis of dealing with that. And then, as dramatic stories usually would have it, when bad things happen, they don't happen singularly. Her career also runs into a very big challenge, making her basically losing the license for a while. So she has to pair up with somebody else to survive, pay her bills, pay her mortgage, still being able to support her kid. So she kind of got forced to work with Dong Zijian's role, who is a young guy who also just entered insurance business and who has a lot of baggage of his own. They can take advantage of each other in a way. So they came together and worked together, but then it wasn't a very smooth collaboration. Most of the time, it was quite blood pressure raising. So most of the story of the 36 episodes are talking about her falling at the beginning and then climbing her way back up to the top of her career and her life. Overall, I really enjoyed watching this drama. I had a lot of fun, and it has a very, let's say, stabilized and evened out watchability. So I want to put the not ideal things first, just to inform you what may not be the best thing of this drama, and then I'll talk about what I like about it and why I still overall would recommend you to check out this drama. Number one, a point that I actually personally do not really have any qualification to say, but because I looked at other people's commentary, this drama is talking about mostly insurance brokers' job and the business of selling insurance. I've watched a couple of people's commentary online who are actually in the insurance business in China, and they would say this would never happen, that would never happen for Sun Li's character. To do this for her client or do that case in that way does not apply. If you're in the business of selling insurance and you watch this drama, you probably will go, that's not true, that's not accurate, they are messing up the portrayal of my profession again. It's just not how it works in reality. So just be warned, in terms of being real enough and detailed enough and accurate enough about the insurance business, this drama may not be your best friend. Second, that's my personal point. The casting choice of Dong Zijian playing the male lead character, the 28-year-old guy, a very wobbly choice. I can see the attraction and the part that he did well, which I find actually is quite adorable. On the other hand, I could also logically and rationally convince myself that had they picked a better suited actor, this drama may perform a lot better. If you disregard completely that it's this actor playing this role, just looking at the lines and the actions that's written in script of this role, it's not the most likable character you can imagine. Let's just put it that way. He's actually written as a pretty annoying guy. It's almost like 60 to 70% from the beginning to almost the last act of the story that he is constantly rather annoying. And he's the type of not a bad guy, but if you work with this guy as your colleague and you work together to collaborate on projects, he's likely to do things that completely disregard your position in the whole thing and opinionated on holding up his high standard that he screws up the things over and over again for you. So as a collaborator, as a team player, if you have that person on your team, you are likely to be 80% of the time wanting to take blood pressure controlling medicine. So he's not a really that adorable guy on paper. And that makes it quite tricky because he is the male lead. He's the guy who has most screen time apart from Sun Li. If he is not so likable on paper, you almost have to counterbalance it to cast somebody who naturally has this appeal that may lessen the annoyingness just by the virtue that he's adorable, he's cute, he vibrates in his energy, and honestly, most of the drama watchers are still straight women. So you almost have to appeal to straight women's preference of a pretty young guy that you can forgive to a more extent than, say, somebody who's not that attractive and you just like, who are you? Who do you think you are? And Dong Zijian is actually not a bad actor, but he also isn't one of those actors who is apparently just by the fact that he stands there that you want to take a second look. There are plenty of people at his age range who can act at similar level as an actor, professionally speaking, as he can, but who would be, let's say, just physically a lot more appealing. I do see during the early episodes, if you look at the live comment, a lot of people just really don't like him. And he lacks that sort of star quality to make people like him no matter what he says and do because he's so pretty. So that just like doesn't work really in the favor of the story. But on the other hand, the fact that he's not that adorable makes, I guess, the contrast of later as time goes on, you see he does improve, although still not perfect. And you see the genuine emotion that comes out of him. He's actually doing the performance quite well so that it creates the contrast. You see like he did move on quite a bit from the beginning and you start to appreciate him and you think about that contrast. It's actually really nice to see too. So I personally cannot really say 100% that had they picked a prettier actor basically who is also good at acting and similar to his age range, it will be a lot better. Like there's always this hesitation of me is like, but you don't have the second time. You don't have the parallel universe timeline. You can actually jump in and take a look. Had they picked a different actor, what it would be like. Maybe if they picked a different actor who is prettier, it wouldn't work. Who knows? Also, you have to think about whether the actor would work a chemistry with Sun Li as a specific female lead, which actually in the drama it did work quite well. So it is likely you're not gonna feel very happy about watching the main guy in this story based on the percentage of complaint I've seen online about his role. That could be one of the biggest problems for you to get in the story and accept it and have fun. You may get annoyed basically from the beginning till at least 70% of the whole story. So that's a pretty long stretch. Now let's go and talk about what I do like about this drama, and I still would say overall, I recommend you to just check it out and see if it's your cup of tea. Point number one, the most simple and straightforward thing, it's a fun drama. Although this is a drama of normal 3D realistic world people who have no superpower, there's no ghost, no murder involved mystery, it's just normal people living day-to-day life, and it's mostly featuring mid-age characters, so it's not idle, young, any of that. It's kind of targeted towards a more, let's say 30 above demographics of audiences, and also since it goes on satellite television, it is the 8 p.m. slot for the whole family, kind of to sit down and watch, if there is still that type of family existing these days in China. Not very common. You'd think this may be filled with a lot of melodrama, a lot of dog blood, and it does have that because the guy from the beginning of the drama, you'll know he cheats on her, and then quite a lot of domestic mess happens at the beginning. But I think the drama very successfully balanced the things that makes you go, not again, oh my god, mess. The marriage mess, the cheating husband mess, the husband's family in the countryside who comes to the city and give our female lead character mess. It very well balances it with other fun, light-hearted, enjoyable things that would happen also to our female lead and how she deals with all the troubles and challenges in her life. Let's say if you compare it to previous Sun Li drama, for example, the real estate agent drama she did a couple of years ago with Luo Jing, where she is a salesperson, the amount of over-the-top drama and the amount of suffering she has and her personal background story, her terrible blood-sucking vampire-like mother, like all that. If you compare to that level of melodramatic stuff in that drama, then this drama is a lot more normal. It generally doesn't get to the over-the-top stage. And also how our female lead faces these situations using her wisdom and her experience of working for decades, dealing with all types of people in the society selling insurance. She already is a master of dealing with humans and cleverly maneuvering to get out of a problem and also making everybody happy in the situation. It does have drama, but it doesn't do the oversell, the overkill that may put people off. Second point, definitely for the casting. Since we talked about Dong Zijian already as I cannot quite tell if it's the good and bad choice problem. I'd say the rest of the cast, pretty much no problem. And obviously this is another big Sun Li drama. Although Gao Xing and Hu Xing'er also play very essential roles in this drama, they do good enough job. You really cannot say there's anything too good or problem from their performance. They're just like fitting it perfectly. As for Sun Li, if she didn't work or she doesn't shine in this drama, the drama would have failed, and it didn't. So she did a really good job. And I'm comparing her performance in this drama to the recent, for example, Ai Qi drama that got released a couple of days before this one, the police drama that really didn't work at all. But it's not really on her. It's like the script was, I don't think anyone can make magic happen with that type of script. I did rant about it in my iQIYI exclusive renting video, so if you're curious, you can go and listen to my opinion about that drama there. But in comparison to that one this year, and then a couple of years ago, her Fang Sijing character in the Anja drama, even the other drama, like she is like the city of, there's a drama that I watched a couple of episodes, she's playing this in architecture, building, whatever business, I can't remember. Like that drama didn't work on me at all, to the point that I almost forgot what it's talking about. So compared to her recent, say 5 years of contemporary drama, this definitely is the best. I think to an extent, this character is closest to herself at this stage of her life. That's point number one. Second, very helpfully, its geolocation is in Shanghai, which is her hometown. And she has extensive actually scenes in this drama where she speaks only Shanghai dialect. For example, to her father in the story, it makes her so much more believable in her communication with people in her life, and you can feel that groundedness coming out because she is allowed to use her dialect. Because I am fluent in Shanghai dialect, I don't speak, but I understand it perfectly. So whenever she has the right tone and the right vocabulary, that very accurate word that only locals know, it would mean a very specific thing that doesn't translate to anything in Mandarin. I'm just like, that's just such a good moment to hear and to watch her perform. And she definitely had a lot of fun enjoying the moment too. As the actress, you totally can see this type of thing doesn't happen to most of her other dramas. So in this drama, I just feel she feels so much more comfortable playing it. The age-wise, her attitude-wise, the fact that she also has kids in her life, and then in this drama, she also has a son. She can bring a lot of her basically life experience as a contemporary 2020s Shanghai rich woman running a family, actually under probably a lot of pressure, even though she's super successful and rich. She could bring so much her life experience straight into her drama, transplanted. And although I don't have a proof, I can tell in her performance there must be so much detail she added to her character. Probably wasn't on script level, because when they wrote it, they wouldn't be so specific, but because she now takes it on, so she would be adding all the little quirks, all the little very specific things, down to how she ties her hair and what she puts in her bag. And in the morning when the kid is having breakfast, she's sitting on the table, she's getting ready for the work of the day, what she will be saying, how she will be like acting, and what she will be doing. It's so based on real life of a mid-aged woman who has a teenager son who needs to get to school like in 10 minutes. You have to finish eating this. I have to finish doing this because I have to drive you there and we have to leave together, but then I have my job. So this is what I would be doing. It's like you cannot fake that detail, and probably it's not in script if you haven't lived the life as the real person. This is the type of role she can do well because it's based on reality instead of the policewoman drama where it's completely detached without detail and there's nothing that the actress can actually get hold on. Whereas A Better Life is filled with those little rocks here and there so she can climb up very easily. And I enjoy her performance in this drama so much. I do think at this stage of her career, in her 40s now, this type of role is the best type of role she can get, and she can 如鱼得水, as if a fish has jumped into a pond and into water, very easily navigate and having fun and do great performance. Her character setup in this drama is she's super successful salesperson, but she comes from relatively humble background and not very well educated. So she has a lot of clever wit, sort of surviving at the bottom of the society wisdom, and she's also, to an extent, uncouth. Therefore, she can go out and then not worrying about, say, losing face, as how Chinese people would say it, as long as she can get the deal, sign the contract, get the money in, she feels proud. To some extent, she enjoys the fact that her work can actually help people. So she's a very well-balanced, not perfect, but quite adorable and energy-wise always trying hard to live a positive life, very brave and sassy woman. And it's just such a well-balanced character. And I did watch an interview where she said she had a lot of discussion with the writer and also the director of making Hu Manli, this character, less perfect. Initially, probably script level made her even better than what she looks like now, and Sun Li insisted, no, she needs to have flaws. And a lot of flaws, and don't hold back on making her look imperfect on screen. She's at that stage of her life. She's under so much pressure, she's mid-age. It cannot be that she looks like radiant and 25 all the time. So she intentionally made sure that she looks imperfect most of the time for this and that reason. And it adds just so much believability. And then also I think gave her basically a lot of little things she can play with as an actress to make her character thicker, right? Having a lot more facades and details for you to chew on instead of just being plain and perfect. This is really the best Sun Li contemporary drama I've seen in years. If you've been a Sun Li fan, if you've loved her previous work and you want to see in her 40s, right, a representational work, a character that she takes full control on, should go and watch this one. It will not disappoint you. The third point I liked about this drama is on a script level and character writing level, this is a story focused on a mid-aged contemporary working woman. And it is through the details of everything she's in contact with, you kind of read what is the writer's idea about such a woman, her position in the world and how she lives and navigates and our society at large. Overall, I feel the writers of this story is having a very well-developed perspective of the current world, and they appreciate very simple good qualities of people. They don't want to sell the story on over melodramatic things that, yes, may get ratings and trending hashtags, but wouldn't make sense. So I feel overall, it is a very well-balanced storytelling team doing this story, and I highly appreciate how they portray a very successful mid-aged woman. In this drama, as you initially would see, the title was 3928, so that refers to Sun Li's character's age and Dong Zijian's character's age, and instantly you're gonna go to Niang love story of an older woman, younger guy, which happens to be very popular in the last 3 to 5 years. A lot of those dramas fail because they overshoot. This drama, I think, overall did one of the best controlling of energy of having a older woman and a younger guy featured as the main couple. And they aren't the typical romantic love couple. For most of the drama, it is clearly not. It only gets to a little bit muddy water towards the end, but that also naturally arrives at the point. And it's mostly from the young guy who really is highly appreciative of the existence of the older woman in his life. And eventually, she is not actually not liking him, but if she has to consider him as a romantic partner, that will incur a lot of drastic changes in her life. I think at the end of the story, she is still not thinking that's a good option. At her age, with her career, the fact that she has a kid who is going to high school and all that, it just like in any sense, realistically, when you think about it, it probably wouldn't work or immediately work at least. And so it's kind of like in limbo, but then they're both still very friendly to each other and they work together. So, you never know what's going to happen at the end. I like how they dealt with it. I like the fact that they didn't really pretend that it does not exist. As time goes on, as they get to know each other and they literally live under the same roof, that they become more and more relied on each other and appreciate each other, so that naturally people develop more emotional attachment to the other person. They didn't run away from that, but they also didn't hard sell it or try to romanticize it too much. The characters are very frank about that to each other, and the storyteller is also very frank. So it's like an open discussion of, okay, so this is the situation we're in. If we do this, or what might be the outcome? If we do that, what might be the outcome? Does it make sense for us to do it now in this way? And people just are very realistic and normal. They don't resolve to simple resolutions and black and white answer and either romantic solutions. It is being controlled at that very acceptable and logical and reasonable level, which I really like, and I think it fits the overall tone of the drama too. I think that's one of the reasons why it's so hard for me to fully say Dong Zijian is a wrong casting choice. I could picture, like I said earlier, a, say, prettier but also good at young actor may just sell this role more, but then that would also push the story more towards the romantic relationship angle, where you almost feel they have to get together, but then when you think about realistically, it still is like, you're doing that again. It's like all women just want a man in their life, which isn't the case for our female lead, really. So that's why I'm debating with myself is, if you find a prettier, also good actor to play this role, would that actually result in a better overall story? Or would that, again, make the story fall into this tropey thing about what's the problem with a woman being older? It still can be perfect. Where in reality, it's a lot more complicated. That's like a tricky part of the story that I haven't figured out yet, but I'm enjoying, and I actually highly appreciate that the drama can make me feel like that. Which is, I cannot quite decide whether this is the right or wrong thing or good and bad choice. And I genuinely do feel the emotional link these two characters do have. And the fact that from Dong Zijian's character's perspective, why he would really be interested in Sun Li. And it's being sold very well. If I were him, I would be very much in love with her too. In many ways, I feel his emotion towards her in the story is not just romantic love. It really is a lot more complicated. Shitty childhood, not having daddy's love, and mother also gets into the situation where he is the caretaker of the mom. So to some extent, I think there's also just pure emotional attachment, because literally in his life, he doesn't have anybody he could relate to and rely on, and having that emotional outlet towards and getting response. So in this story, Dong Zijian's character loves Sun Li's character, not just in a romantic way. I think it's a lot more complicated and layered, which is another thing I like about this drama, is it's not just a simple young guy falls in love with an older woman because she's attractive. It's a lot more complicated than that. And it's unclear how it's all gonna end and whether it's ever gonna work towards anything. And even at the end of the drama, personally, as a viewer, I couldn't decide whether I wish they could get together or not. Whether it's actually gonna work in their favor. Both of them, if they are together. Is that gonna be good for her, good for him? In long run, in short term, it's actually quite muddy. And I like the fact that it's not clear. I think in reality, when people actually get into this type of relationship, with the circumstances these characters have, living in 2020s, China, a big city like Shanghai, actually having job, having all the other things they have to deal with in their life, this probably is a lot more closer to reality than all the other dramas that I've seen, trying to portray this type of older woman, younger guy relationship. So I really, really appreciate this drama's angle of talking about this issue. So this is what I can think of. at the end of this drama. I'm very happy I discovered it. I'm very happy that this is the anchoring me to reality drama while I was watching another 4 other dramas from different platforms that are all just detached and flying out there. Maybe when it's the right time, when I need a little bit pick-me-up energy and listen to some really funny Shanghai local dialect that's being spoken with this genuine believability energy, I would turn on a couple of episodes of this drama and then just let Sun Li's energy contagiously make me feel good about living at the end of the day. So that would be the review I have for the drama 蛮好的人生 A Better Life. I highly recommend you check it out. Thank you for watching Afterall. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.